8 at 8:30 in the morning. Good morning, November the 12th. And looking at our agenda, we have the minutes from the previous meetings. Was there any edits, corrections, additions, or subtractions needed? Hearing none, can I hear a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, Norris is the motion. John is the second. Any other comments? Hearing none, vote. Ayes.
Aye.
Aye.
Linda is out there?
I see her name there. Linda, you there?
She
I'll
was
say
on.
aye.
She had to step away for a second, she said, but she was coming right back.
All right, then
Okay.
I'll say aye, and we can forward that, make sure that is, we've approved the minutes here. Okay, moving next on the agenda is the ASC. We received notice from the Appraisal Standards Committee and Appraisal Qualifications Board. Not only continuing education, but qualifying classes will be allowed to be held live virtual through the end of this year. Linda, anything to add or subtract to that? And that's through the end of next year, 2021.
Right. We received a letter late Tuesday. I haven't read it thoroughly, but it appears that going forward, starting next year, they are going to do, they won't be full reviews, but they will be a virtual review of the program.
Okay,
So I'm not sure, we haven't heard anything as far as when ours would be. I'm thinking it will still be June of next year, but it will be virtual instead
so
of
they're
in
not
person.
they didn't want the fine dining of Hartford. Okay.
No, they're not doing any traveling next year, I guess.
Okay. All right, that's the world we live in. Okay. Any questions on that matter by fellow commissioners? Okay. Hearing none, let's move over to the schools and courses. I know that we were trying to move forward here. We put forth, Linda, did you get comments from everyone, or are there any that we
Everyone
must to address?
Everyone approved the ones that they had, but I heard from, but John, did you, I know you said you hadn't had a chance.
I did went
So-
through the whole thing, and actually, this is the instructor doesn't have really any appraisal experience, but the course itself is actually pretty good, and it's aggressive course for 7 hours, so I don't have any problems with it. Is
All
he
right,
an
so then-
AQB instructor?
He doesn't need to be.
Okay, then I don't have any
So-
problems with the course.
All right, so you have all said okay to the courses you reviewed. So we just need a
Okay.
motion to approve them.
I make a motion to approve the courses as reviewed.
John has made a motion. Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Norris is second. Okay. Linda, you're
Here.
there.
I don't know why my picture's not there, but I'm there.
Okay. Can any discussions, comments? Hearing none, we'll vote. Ayes to approve.
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Nays, abstentions. We pass. We move forward in that arena. Great. Thank you. We move now over to under the new business side of the fence here. Potential meeting dates of 2021 presented to the board by Analyst Powell. It was moved to accept, excuse me.
There,
am I-
you have the wrong agenda.
I have the wrong agenda is what I'm looking at here. So what do we have on the new
We have
business.
Monica Shiaka, who's an RCG applicant. I'm looking for her sample selection. And I understand that what I sent you guys were unable to open. So it's the way they scanned it into the system that I can't change it. They scanned it in as a TIFF, so I can't change it. I don't know how to change it to open it. So we're
Linda,
gonna,
the email that you sent that Terry Jo sent with, on the date November 12th, part 1 of 2 and 2 of 2. I was
Mhm.
able to open everything on that.
Oh, you were
without-
able to open her application on that.
Yeah, without
Was her
any,
application there?
hold on, let me see if I,
I don't know if she sent the application because I
oh,
didn't give it to her.
okay, because this is just all the exhibits and everything.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, so what I propose we do is I'm gonna need to go in, print it out and scan it back in and save it
okay.
and resend it. So, but it is an RCG, so if I send it, John, to you and to Jerry, can you guys pick a few samples and get back to me with it once I send it? And then we can approve her log when she does her sample review.
Yeah, what format is it in? Just send it, and if I can't open it, I can't open it. Go
Well, I
ahead.
sent it to you. And it wasn't able, you're not able to open it because it only shows the first page for some reason.
Right, that's all I get.
Yeah,
Linda, is she
So-
residential?
no, she's commercial.
Oh, okay.
That's why I said if I send it to John and Jerry to pick out a few samples each.
Yes,
Okay. Jerry, does that work?
Yep, that's fine with me.
Okay.
That's more than fine.
All right, so we can table that until, or we can just say we'll send the thing for you guys to pick samples, and then we can table approving the log until she's at the meeting. Morning, Shauna.
Good morning.
Okay. Welcome, Shauna. Okay, I have the new agenda in front of me here.
Okay,
I hope it's okay. So then we kind of, and then we have the appraisal found. If you send that, we'll take care of that. That's
Okay.
fine to help Monica along here. The appraisal foundation approval from Para. What do we have to say with there?
I just sent you, they just approved it. I sent you the info that I got from them. It's just an FYI for you guys to review, and we can discuss going forward once, what we want to do, because if we want to, use it or not, and how we want to go about it. But, you guys will need time to digest it, to discuss it on the agenda.
Okay, so that will be now move it to.
I would say
December.
January. I would say January.
Okay. Okay, January it will be. Okay. Okay. Is there any old business
No,
that
I
has
don't have,
popped up between when this was sent and then as of this morning?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Legislative and legal update.
The only thing that I can say is that John Galvin was kind enough to go on a conference call with Linda and myself, which we went over the most recent proposed changes, and those were submitted they were submitted last week. So I think we're all set. This was in reference to, John, you can tell them what it was in reference to the jurisdictional exception, I believe it was.
yeah, in reference to what we submitted as far as the changes go to the regs. And basically, there was some question over some of the stuff on consulting. It looked like they were focusing on why we were taking out the terms consulting. And so we just clarified that, and now it has to go back. It's still, Vicky, it still has to get approved by the head of the department, right? The committee.
It was, as far as I know, it was approved. It's being submitted for
Reg review.
For reg review, that is correct.
So it made that step. Now it's into the next process.
It's in the next step or the next process, that is correct.
All right, thank you.
Okay. And John, you were getting questions from who?
Vicky, there was one woman.
The legal director, our legal director, Julianne Avalon,
Okay.
had asked some questions, just getting clarification because she thought that it was more than a technical change. So as a result of the expertise of John Galvin, we were able to address her concerns, and it has moved forward.
Okay. All right. Are there, outside of today's hearings that we have before us, A through H, on the CE audit formal hearing schedule, are there any other legal issues that must be addressed, needed to look forward to, or you need our time?
Not at this time. I guess when we start the hearing, there are some matters that can be marked off, in terms of expediency. I can start out
Okay.
with those, before we start the hearing, or it depends on how you want to
Right.
proceed.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to make sure the decks are clear before we start into the hearings here. Is there
Okay, that's
any
fine. Thank you.
other matters that we need to be apprised of, we need to address, or do whatever we need to do for this month?
I don't have anything else.
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay. Anything from the other commissioners? If there's something that you need to bring to the forefront? Okay. Hearing none, then we will move forward with our CE audit hearings and with our cases and so forth. So the first one here is case 2020-84A. But before we go there, go ahead,
Yeah,
Vicki.
before we start, what I
stage.
wanted to say, there are a couple of matters that have been and can be marked off, and 20-84 can be marked off as that matter. The respondent has come into compliance, so there's no need to proceed forward on 20-84. So that matter can be marked off. Relative to
Okay.
20-96, that matter can be marked off as the respondent has come into compliance, and therefore there's no need to proceed with the hearing in that matter. As to 20-185, that matter has also come into compliance. The respondent is in compliance on that matter. As a result, there's no need to proceed on the administrative hearing on 20-185.
Okay, so to make sure I have this correct here, you are saying that matter 2020-84 has been resolved?
That is correct.
2020-185 has been resolved?
That is correct.
And you had a third one, I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's correct. The third one is 2020-96.
2020-96. So
That is
in the
correct.
alphabetical agenda, A is in apple, C is in cat, G is in giraffe are now no longer matters before us.
Correct.
That is correct.
Okay. That being said, then our first matter then is 2020-96. And before we get going,
Well,
I am
2020-96 has been marked off.
it has been. Oh yeah, so I'm so sorry. I was
2096
given a
has been marked
different
off. Correct.
Yep,
But
I'm
let
looking
me
at different-
just, if I may interrupt, I just want to ask Mr. Riccio if he's represented by counsel.
My counsel is not here.
Okay, then if his counsel is not here, then whatever order you decide to go in, that's fine. If counsel is here, we generally try to entertain their, representation first. But okay, that's fine. Thank you so much.
And how we will be doing these hearings today, we will be listening to each one of the respondents for their situation, their circumstances that bring them before us today here, to bring anything to light that we will take into consideration. We will hear all of these respondents, and then as a commission, we will, if we need to ask for any other additional information from the State Department of Consumer Protection, or if we, for the individuals, we will do so. And therefore, in the honor of trying to be consistent and fair to all, then we will take up each matter. But we will follow that process today, and we will then begin. So we will give our respondents time to present their side or their situations for our consideration. That
Well,
being
with
said,
all respect to due process, I'd like to go first as I am complaint counsel. And I just want to make a opening statement, if you will, just to
Please.
put on the record. In terms of the department's complaint that was sent out, the department is alleging that the respondents are not in compliance or have failed to provide documentation in the time frame that was provided. Perhaps there is some extenuating circumstance, or there is some update that they would like to provide that the department was not in receipt of at the time that the announcements, complaints went out. The department is alleging that each of the respondents are not in compliance with the continuing education cycle for 2018, 2020. And as a result, the department is required to put them on notice, which the department believes that it has done, and we can do each individual case if need be. The department had provided an opportunity for them to respond both September 15th and October 15th. And if they were not in compliance by those dates, a notice was sent out, i.e. a complaint. And again, we can take it up on the individual cases. But for the overview, if you will, or by way of background information, the department believes that each person was notified and they have failed to come into compliance, or if they are in compliance, they can present that information today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That being said, we will begin with case or file, I should say, not case, file 2020-87. Mr. Thomas Caprero, are you on the line, sir? Mr. Caprara, are you on the line?
I see him. Terry Jo, can you? There he is.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, well, good morning, and thank you for joining us this morning. For the record, could you please give your name and address and spell out your last name for the record?
My name is Thomas Capraro, C-A-P-R-A-R-O. And my home address is 101 Angel Avenue in North Providence, Rhode Island.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Linda, are you to give us the background, please?
Okay. When he submitted his CE originally for his renewal of his license, the appraisal law course he submitted had been used for the 2018 audit. He had not been in compliance in the 2018 audit and had to take the law course at that time. He was notified. That's what the outstanding issue was. I received the new law course that he took on November 9th. The only issue outstanding is the $400 civil penalty in the ABC, the Assurance of Voluntary Compliance, that we've asked all people as a formality to sign when they have submitted a payment.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Capraro, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you all for seeing me this morning. I'm not sure why I'm here because of the fact that I understand that you have a requirement. I don't believe I ever took this. When can someone tell me when this legal requirement for this sponsor trainee program took effect?
All appraisers were required to take the Connecticut appraisal law course starting in 2008, regardless of how they were licensed. And it appears you were audited in 2018 and hadn't taken it, and then you did submit the course then, late, after we did the audit. And so that once you use a course for one cycle, you can't use the same exact certificate, the same exact course taken on that day for another cycle.
Well, I think that the disconnect for me here is I'm not sure why I'm required to take the course. I will never be in a situation where I will have a Connecticut trainee under me.
Well, it's not just the Connecticut trainee course, it's the Connecticut appraisal law with the supervisor trainee course. So, we combined the requirement from the feds to have a supervisor trainee course that all supervisors and trainees have to take with our appraisal law course. And the appraisal law course is mandatory for all appraisals since 2008.
Countrywide?
For
Nationwide.
any Connecticut licensed appraiser, regardless of where they live or anything. If they do business, and if they have a Connecticut license, they have to take it.
Okay, well, I wasn't aware of that, and I thought because I was never audited, I guess, the case was I was never audited, that I was exempt, which was my understanding. For further background, I had to close my business as of April 30th through May and reopened in June, and it subsequently contracted the coronavirus for July, August, and part of September. I'm just getting back to where I'm back to work full time. And to be frank with you all, another $400 fee because of clearly my ignorance and to the matter seems a bit onerous at this point. And I'm here to ask that you relieve me of that fee. That's my request, based upon the history, based upon my good standing, based upon 31 years of an appraisal career that is without blemish. I mean, beyond that, I really can't say, you know, I'm at your mercy. Obviously, I did the wrong thing. I wasn't aware, like I said, I'm still not understanding. In Rhode Island, we are not required to take that course if we have a trainee. That I've never heard of that. I've never been subject to that. So I thought I was exempt from the course. I see why you're doing it for Connecticut people. I'm still not understanding why, as my home state license is Rhode Island. I'm also certified in Massachusetts as well as Connecticut. So for me to have a course like that, if you say I do, for me to be licensed in Connecticut, I do, but I was not under the impression that it was a requirement for me. So that's really all I have to say at this point. I mean, I don't know what else to say to the matter.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from the commission members that they would like to present to Mr. Capraro?
Yeah, Jerry, I have one. Mr. Capraro, how long have you had a Connecticut license?
Excuse me, Linda, you have to identify yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's Linda Sepso. How long have you had a Connecticut license?
I believe 20 years.
Okay, because the course that you're talking about is the Connecticut law module that has been in existence for a very long time. We just added in other words, to avoid having to require 2 courses to be taken, we added in the stuff about the provisional and supervisory into the standard Connecticut law class that you would have been required to take every year that you wanted a Connecticut license. So it's just that we've changed we've added a topic into the course, but it's always been the Connecticut law course, and it's always been required. So
I've never taken it.
You have, because
I thought
you
you took
indicated
it
you took it in 2000.
I thought you took it in 2018. It was.
No, I took it. I took it last week.
You took the.
He was audited in 2018
Okay.
and he was missing the course and he took it late and paid the civil penalty in 2018.
Okay. But that was the same course that had the the provisional in it. So that's what I'm
Right.
saying. You've been taking this course all along. So I'm not understanding why you think you didn't have to take it. It's a requirement to take the Connecticut law module. And it always has been.
I took the course one time. I took it last week. Is the only time I've ever taken the course was last week.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? This is
Sure.
Shauna Bain. How many states are you actually certified in?
I'm certified in 3 states.
And are you aware that each state may have their own requirements?
Yes, I certainly am, but I don't, once again, I'm going to be redundant here. I am never going to be in a situation where I have a trainee in the state of Connecticut.
I think you're missing the point of this. This is a law class that the supervisor was part of that. It's our general law class that we give that is mandatory. Every 2 years, you have to take that class. The supervisor part is not, it's just a part of that class. It's the law class that you didn't take, that you should be aware of.
they're not, they're one and the same.
Yes.
I took it one time. So I don't know how to respond other than that.
Okay. Commissioner Hawkins or Commissioner Galvin, do you have any questions?
Yeah,
No
this is John,
question.
go ahead, John Galvin. Thomas, I know you've been praising, you said for 30 years, you're licensed in 3 states. And this has been something that's been part of our continuing education, as Linda indicated, mandatory since 2008. And the reason why we do this course is because it's constantly being updated and changed to be current with, current regulations, current requirements, et cetera, et cetera. And I would think as a professional in the field that you indicated, even in 30 years, that you would want to stay up to date on those things. And so I'm kind of a little surprised that you're saying that you're not aware of it. In Rhode Island and Massachusetts, there are no law modules that you have to take at all as part of your continuing education credits?
Not specific to the state. No, not over and above anything else that's required nationwide.
Okay.
I got no further questions.
Are there any other further questions from the commission members? Hearing none. Mr. Caprara, is there anything last word that you would like us to take into consideration other than what you've already stated?
No, I don't believe. I just, I don't want to take up any more of your time, and I want to thank you all for hearing me this morning. But beyond that, there's not really anything else I can add to the to my request at this point.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time, and when we will be getting back to you. Okay, but today we're just hearing everyone's side or the respondent side of their situation. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thank you for all for your time. Good day.
I just want to
Thank
ask
you.
a question of the commission. Do you need any documentation relative to the statement that he had COVID or no? I didn't know if that was relevant to you or no.
No, he had COVID well after.
I agree. I just wanted to make sure that the record was clear that you did not need that documentation or information to
No.
make your decision. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Well, the reason I stated the COVID was it was a financial thing. It wasn't.
Right, we understand that, yeah.
Right, I just
Okay.
wanted the record to be clear to reflect whatever your circumstances, if they need additional documentation.
And I'll be more than willing to provide that if they do.
Yeah. They
And,
said no, so thank you.
Thank you all again. May I leave now?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
John.
you. Have a great day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Yep.
Okay.
Linda, I got a quick question, Jerry, before we move on. Linda, he had already been fined for the previous cycle for not taking the law module, and then he took the
Correct.
law module. So the
Right.
law module that he took counted for the previous cycle,
Correct.
and then he didn't take
it.
it again for this cycle, so he took it again.
Right,
So he's
right.
taking it-
He took the law side, he took the law as a result of the audit in 2018. And then this cycle, he tried to submit that same course, which you can't use the same course twice.
And if I'm not
How
mistaken,
much
in that course, doesn't it specifically say, Linda DeSepso, doesn't it specifically state that this is a required course that you got to take every 2?
Yeah, it's all over
Yeah.
everything on the course.
Thank you.
Linda,
Okay.
how much was it?
We
Linda, how
will,
much was the fine?
The fine is $400.
No, from 2018. Was it
It
still
was
the 400?
$400.
Okay, I just wanted to know that. Thanks.
okay. Linda, are you going to be able to provide us a history on all our respondents here if there's any past
Yeah,
history? So we will get that after or sometimes to the rest of the commission members. Okay, so we'll have a history on each individual here. Okay. All right, thank you. Now we will move into case 20-20-146. Mr. Michael Riccio, are you with us, sir?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good morning and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Linda, could you please give us an overview?
Yeah, he renewed his license on April 30th, so he waited to just about everything was done the way he was supposed to. And however, he finished the law course, and I know he sent me an email saying he was having some technical difficulties with it and uploading the certificate and stuff. But he took it through McKissick and he completed it at 12:05 a.m. on May 1st. So the certificate says May 1st, so technically it is late. It was after he renewed his license, after April 30th. So he is here to appeal the fine. And in 2016, he did pay a civil penalty for completing CE late. Just so you know. And
All
that's
right.
it.
Okay.
Everything
Mr.
else was done
Riccio,
on time.
very good. Thank you. Mr. Riccio, the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you everybody for allowing me this time. Everything that you have, I send in to the attorney is time-stamped, so there's no getting around the times. I've been relegated in my household of 6 people to late evenings with 6 people scrambling for Wi-Fi access and computer time. So I don't have any other, I'm only here to appeal the fine. I did have difficulty loading that document. I emailed Linda immediately at 12:06 or 12:07 in the morning
He
on
did.
Friday. And just to let her know that I was having difficulty, I would try to reload it in the morning. But other than that, it's just an appeal for the fine.
Okay. Thank you. Commission members, anyone have any questions for Mr. Riccio? Mr. Galvin, Commissioner Galvin?
Yeah, so, John Galvin, Michael, so you actually took the class on the April 30th?
I did, John. I took it that night. I actually sent you all my enrollment time and my completion time. So that's
And the
correct. I took
completion
it on
time
April
just says
30th.
12.
I just couldn't get the thing loaded up, which sent me over the and listen, there's no as I said, everything's timestamped. There's no getting around. Did I wait till the last minute? I did. It was just a little difficulty with all the kids and everybody was at home at that time, needing computers and bandwidth and all that other stuff. So no excuse for waiting till the end, but I was only 5 minutes late. I apologize.
Yeah. This is Commissioner Rasmussen. I misstepped here a moment here. Mr. Riccio, could you give your name and address and the spelling out your last name for the record, please? My apologies, Vicky.
I was going to ask at the end, but thank you.
Michael Riccio, RICCIO, 124 Andrews Street in Southington, Connecticut.
Okay, thank you, and my apologies to all. Commissioner Galvin, I didn't mean to step in. You can resume. I'm sorry about that.
My toes are okay. I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay. Does anyone have any other? Commissioner Hawkins, Commissioner Sepso, Commissioner Barron, any questions?
Jerry, it's Linda Sepso. I do have one question. Mr. Riccio, what time did the course finish?
Bear with me. So enrollment date, 10 o'clock in the morning on the 30th, completion date, 12:05 and 12 seconds a.m. on the 1st after midnight.
Okay, so you hadn't completed the course. I
don't know.
Late.
I'm sorry. I had the Kalibi group send me that because I don't know if the course actually completes at that time, or I was having difficulty getting the thing to the certificate to upload.
Okay.
I can't answer that. I don't know how their documents. That's all I could provide you was that timestamp. I don't
Okay.
know if that was me trying to get the thing to upload. I don't know. I don't have the answer to that.
Okay.
The information has been provided. Thank you, Terry Jo, for providing that. If anybody needs to look at what documentation was submitted.
And everything that you see there circled, that was me circling it just for your benefit there.
Okay.
As I'm in a remote location and unable to get on the Zoom, so I am calling in. If something could be at least forwarded to me by email or what have you for my review, that'd be thankful. Appreciate it.
Terry Jo, could you just tell us what exhibit that is? The exhibits have already been forwarded to the commission members. Can you just tell us what exhibit that is that you're bringing up for us?
Sure. This is currently exhibit number 7 under Riccio, and I did send it to you, Commissioner Rasmussen, along with the link
Thank you.
in the beginning, so you do have that evidence.
So exhibit 7, thank you.
Correct.
Okay.
Riccio
Thank
exhibit
I
7.
have another question then. It's Linda Sepso again. On this, it says your enrollment date was April 30th at 10 o'clock in the morning, or almost 10:30 in the morning. And it says first class access date was 10 o'clock PM. So that's when you started the class? At 10 o'clock at
I
night?
assume, I don't recall personally, but if that's what this says, then that's correct.
Only because it's a 3-hour class, so I'm really surprised you were all done by 12 o'clock. Okay.
So just as a brief, it depends on the course. Some of them I definitely breezed through. I recently had, this year actually, and you have a copy of that, received my real estate salesperson's license. So a lot of this was redundant for me. And I believe Connecticut law is part of that. So I've been a licensed appraiser for over 20 years. So some of it's redundant and I do breeze through quickly, but there's no question. Listen, I sent an email at 12:06. I'm not trying to skirt any issues here that I was late.
Okay.
It was just, in no question, having 6 people trying to homeschool at home is not an easy task. So I tried to do everything. As you can see, I enrolled in the morning and didn't get back to it until that night.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Barron and Commissioner Hawkins, any questions?
No.
Okay. Hearing none. And any other questions by any of the commissioners? Hearing none, then I say thank you very much, sir. And we will be getting back to you if we need anything, but thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Next case is 2020-175. I'm marrying, and I don't want to mispronounce it, Giolis.
Hi, Commissioner, I'm going to ask if we have that matter last because we need to call the respondent by telephone because she does not have access to a computer. So I would ask that we leave that case until the very end as to not disturb our flow, if you will, with everybody already being on Zoom.
That's fair. Thank you
Okay,
very much.
thank you.
Attorney Bullock, thank you very much. Then we will move on to the next case, F as in Frank, on our agenda, case 2020-183, Mr. Stephen Ulvaney. Mr. Ulvaney, are you with us this morning?
Yes, I am, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jerry. How are you?
Fine, thank you. For the record to state, Mr. Ulvaney and I worked together, 10, 12 years or thereabouts, who knows? And we were located next to each other in office and so forth. Although I do not vote on these matters unless there is a tie, I am going to have to recuse myself for the fairness of everybody. So there's no view of improprieties or so on and so forth. So I will be just, doing what I'm doing here, but I want the record to show that I'm recusing myself on this matter here. Mr. Ulvaney, could you please give us your address and the spelling of your last name?
The name is Stephen Ulvaney, last name spelled O-L-V as in victory, A-N-Y. My address is 49 Echo Drive North in Darien, Connecticut.
Okay, thank you. Linda, would you
Sure.
give an overview, please?
Yeah. He submitted his CE done on time. However, when reviewing it, he has 19 hours that are approved CE, and then he submitted 12 hours of CE that was approved, excuse me, for his, I'm not sure what he has, a salesperson or a broker's license, but it was approved for sales and brokers, but it was not approved for appraisal. The courses he submitted were realtor personal safety procedures for 3 hours, a flood course for 3 hours. And those two courses had come before the commission from the schools, and we had denied them approval. And the other 6 hours was the mandatory real estate agency law and fair housing 1 and 2. So none have been
Okay.
approved for appraisal, and the certificates clearly state salesperson broker's license.
Steve, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rasmussen and others. Thank you for having me this morning. I've been an appraiser in the state of Connecticut. Yes, I worked with Jerry for at least 10 years and always renewed my license. I've taken these classes every 2 years with the Connecticut's Real Estate Academy out of Shelton, Connecticut, and used these certificates for the past 6 cycles, however many years the cycles are. They've always been approved. I think if you add in the 19 hours that were approved and the 12 hours that were quote unquote rejected, I have more than enough hours. I did not know they were not approved by your course, because by your commission every year they always had been approved. So that was news to me. So that's something that's never happened. If I'm missing a couple hours and they are rejected, I'm sorry, I will take the hours. I would also like to see if I can get the fine waived and the civil penalty waived for an extra $400. I know this stuff's expensive. I don't know why they were rejected, but if you say they don't qualify, they don't qualify. I see the same thing you're seeing, which says real estate salespersons and brokers. It's stamped CRE, which is the school academy. Like I said earlier, these same template certificates have been used by the same approved Connecticut real estate educational institution for the past, I don't know, I've been a broker for 20 years. Did not know they were rejected this time. So if I need to take another 2 hours, I apologize. It will take another 2 hours if these are not acceptable to you. I can tell you some of these, or, some really good courses, and they taught you a lot. I don't know why appraisers wouldn't be, you wouldn't accept a flood course, but if somebody on your commission doesn't like the flood course, they don't like the flood course. I just did a deal in Shelton. Is it Shelton? Stratford. A week ago, and 2 appraisals in Stratford a week ago. The big thing about Lordship Boulevard in Stratford is that the majority of that area is in a flood zone. As a way of an example, there's a piece of land that is on the market that's sold for $300,000 an acre. There's one that's on the market for sale that is $900,000 an acre. The reason why one's 300, one's 900 is one was lifted out of the flood zone. Not a lot of people and brokers know that. As an appraiser taking a course like this and being in the industry, I know that because I looked at the flood map, and when I took this course, flood maps, so pretty valuable course. And again, I would ask to have the civil penalty waived. I thought they were acceptable. For an extra $400, I think it's money. It's tight in today's world. That's for sure. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oveni. Commission members, questions?
This is John Galvin. I got a question. Linda, in his past cycles, you said if I got this right, there was a previous cycle that he had not been approved?
The only one I saw in the system, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, was in 2009 that he was, he came before us for CE. Mr. Albany, have you come before us before with a question on your CE in the past
The
few
only
years?
time, yeah, no, there was something that happened in 2009. And at that time, I think the civil penalty was $2,000 because I was missing 2 hours. I think it was $1,000 an hour. I've been,
Yeah, it was before I was here, so.
yeah, I've been in full compliance all these years. My point earlier to that, Mr. Farmington, was that I've taken this Connecticut Real Estate Academy classes for my broker's license every 2 years, because that's how the broker's license gets renewed, and you have to get your education every 2 years for those guys. And whenever I use those courses, you know, the courses are acceptable by the appraisal commission also. I usually have more courses than anybody else because I have more hours, because I have to take both appraisal and brokerage, because I have a brokerage license in New York, a brokerage license in Connecticut, an appraiser's license in New York, an appraiser license in Connecticut. So I have more hours than most. I remember Jerry back in the old days used to take 50 hours a year because he liked it. But the courses that were provided by this company, Connecticut Real Estate Academy, out of Shelton, Connecticut, the other courses that I always take and all the other past years of my CE educational cycle requirement for the Appraisal Institute, some of those courses have always been accepted.
Right, and they are an approved school, but any course that is approved for appraisal would have an AAL dot whatever number on it for their registration for the course, saying it was approved. And they do have approved courses. I'm not disputing that, but these courses that he actually took were not approved by us. So, you know, have you been audited in the last couple cycles? I can't remember.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I sat with Jerry. Jerry said every year you get it was a money maker for the state because it goes into the general fund. So they audit every single appraiser every single year, and I've been audited every single time. And I've
All right,
always
this is the
been
first
same.
time we've audited every appraiser since I've been here, so.
Okay, this is the first time these were ever rejected to me.
All right, so John Galvin, I got a question again for you, Stephen.
Mhm.
So you're saying that in the past cycle, 2018, you submitted the same or similar coursework and it was approved. So you're
Correct.
saying you submitted coursework that was not, it was approved by the brokers, and now looking back, you realize it wasn't approved for the appraisal license as continuing education.
That's correct. Every year, all the brokers in Stanford Westchester takes these courses together. We all sit in the classroom,
No,
all
I
take
understand that, yeah.
together, and we take them in October, right?
So Linda, is there a way for us to go
Later.
back and look at his cycle for 2018 and a couple of previous cycles to see if they were, you know, we obviously overlooked it if it went through and they were considered approved?
I am looking up his comp audit. He was audited in 2010 and in 2014. So we wouldn't have those courses at this point. They're too old for what he submitted in 2010 or 2014.
So there's no way to
Let
go
me
look at what he submitted for 2018 then?
Not unless he provided it, because we didn't audit him in 2018, so we don't have it.
All right, thank you.
I think these are my 2017 ones. This is for 3 classes. This is another 2017 one. The only difference I can tell you that Connecticut Real Estate Academy, they have, I don't know how many they have on their syllabus of courses they offer every year. This one I'm staring at is identity theft and real estate and appraisal. They didn't offer that course this year. They offered the other course, which was flood and realtor personal procedures, and the CT fair housing. Did I take that one again this year? Yeah, they just changed it. CT real estate agency law review and fair housing 2. This is, I guess, Fair Housing 1. And these were taken on 10/19/17. And like I said earlier, these documents, they say the same thing. It says salespersons and broker's license, salespersons and broker's license. It does not say, does not say appraiser on here anywhere. But this is right. The name of the course is Theft, Identity, and Real Estate and Appraisal. I gotta believe that was accepted by you. It does. It says here. It doesn't say anything about it up here. It was what Linda was saying. So you accepted their course before. I just, as a matter of course, these courses are a lot better than McKissick.
All right, he wasn't, like I said, he wasn't audited in 2018, so I don't know if those were accepted courses, if we would have accepted them in 2018 or not, because he didn't need to submit them for us to review.
Okay. Are there any other questions from other commission members? Hearing none. Steve, anything else you want to say or in closing?
The only other item, if those 12 courses, or how many hours am I short? Am I short like 1 or 2 or 3?
9.
Right, so I'm short 9. I have 12. I have 12, right? So if all 12 are rejected,
I thought you said you took, well, for appraisal, you need 28 hours.
okay, I have 28, right?
So but they're only classes that have been approved by the appraisal commission.
Understand, I fully understand. So
Okay.
right now, if all 12 are accepted, I'm over by 3. Right?
Oh, you mean if we accept the real estate classes?
Correct. So I'm 3 over. So if you accept 3 of the 4 classes I took, then we're even, Steven. If not, I'm sure if you reject all of them, then I'm short by 9. I'll take the courses if I have to. I'm just surprised that they were rejected. But that was news to me. I apologize.
Well, I guess I have a question. Are you aware that everything that's approved is up on the website and you can check it? And if you did, do you check them? And if you didn't check it, are you aware that you have to submit for approval prior to being audited?
You mean if there's a course that's not approved, you have to ask the commission to get it approved?
Right. You take a class somewhere. You
I
can
am
ask
aware of
for
that law, yes.
Okay. And hearing no other questions and so forth, thank you for your time, Stephen, and we'll be getting back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Rasmussen. Thank you, commissioners. I appreciate your time.
Very good. Thank you. Okay. Moving now to,
Jerry, before we move on, I just
Yes.
want to let you know, you guys might want to do this too. I'm on the Connecticut Real Estate Academy's website, and you really can't tell when they're offering their courses if they're approved for the real estate appraisal or the real estate brokers.
yeah, John, we're going to go over that. We're going to get through these other folks first, then we can have
All right.
these individual discussions, okay?
Thank you.
Jerry, should I leave the meeting?
Yeah, you're
you don't
more
have to.
welcome to, Steve. Yeah.
It's up to
can
you.
Stay as long as you want or do whatever you'd like, okay?
I'm going to go back to work today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time.
Bye. Okay, we're moving now to case 2020-191, which will be H as in hat on your agenda. A Victor Schlesinger. Is Mr. Schlesinger on the line?
I am on the line. Good morning, all.
Good morning, sir. Could you please give us your name, spelling out your last name and your address for the record?
My name is Victor Schlesinger. The last name spelled is Schlesinger. My address is 578 Bedford Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11249.
Thank you, sir. Linda, could you give an overview, please?
Okay, he received his license in 2019 and was sent an email at that time regarding what was needed. We received what was needed except for the law course. We didn't, so, and I know, and I apologize, he did say he tried to reach me the middle of October, and unfortunately, I spaced through that email. It was when my husband was in the hospital, so I totally apologized, not getting back to him, explaining that, he needed the law course. He has since completed the law course. He did send that in last night. He also sent in a letter last night to us with documentation explaining that he is right now homebound with an oxygen supplement and on medication for double pneumonia after fighting off COVID. And he did send in proof that he actually was in the hospital for over a week with COVID. So I'm assuming he's here because he wants to waive the fine.
Okay. Thank you, Linda. Mr. Schlesinger, the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you, and good morning to all. I was quarantined in early March, and in upstate New York, but I had a second home. And basically, I was out of the office. My secretary also quit on me in March, so any correspondent to the office that came in was, if I didn't answer, it was of course, I wasn't aware of it. Subsequently, I did contact double COVID. I was hospitalized. Thank God I survived. It was very bad. So they told me I'm born again. But I'm still on oxygen and still homebound. If I don't have, I mean, if I would have been aware, of course, I would have taken it. My understanding was that under Section 2515, under the Connecticut licensing laws, that if I'm licensed in New York, the reciprocity is in effect. So basically, everything that I'm taking from New York should help. Should be good for Connecticut. Obviously, I'm wrong, but I went and I had, as soon as I found out this out, I took from McKeesick the 4-hour course. I have it over here. I sent it over to Linda. I also took the 7 hours use PAP. So I'm asking, please understand this is a hardship time, and I would have, of course, abided by anything that the CE requires. It was just a mistake, obviously, and I'm asking for to understand me.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Schlesinger?
I have
Jerry,
none. John Galvin, I have none.
Jerry, I just have a question for Mr. Schlesinger. It's Linda Sepso. What's the cycle? What is the timing for the cycle in New York? We can't hear you.
Every 2 years. The CE is every.
Oh, I know, but I mean, what are the dates? Like, we have to have everything done by April 30th.
Linda, they are rotating. They are,
Oh,
no one
okay.
does it all on the same day. It's a rotation of when your
Gotcha.
application goes in, okay?
Okay, thank you. I was wondering why he wouldn't have needed to take the USPAP course during the New York cycle. And that would, instead of taking
Oh,
it.
I took it. I did. No, I did. I have in New York a 15-hour courses. I mean, I took all the C's in New York.
Okay.
Yeah, the only thing he was missing for Connecticut was the law course. He did submit a USPAP that satisfied it and 22 hours of elective. So he was fine for that. It was just the law
Okay.
course.
Okay.
But I did the retake also. I did take the 7 hours that I saw.
Right, I saw. Thank you.
Are there any other questions from other commissioners? Hearing none. Mr. Schlesinger, is there anything else you'd like to say for the commission to take into consideration?
I want to have my Connecticut license. I do get some assignments sometimes, so I would like to keep it, of course. And that's it, basically. Appreciate you listening to me today.
Thank you for your time, sir, and hope that you do get a full and speedy recovery. Thank you. Okay. Now we move now back to Vicky. You have to give us the guidance that you asked for. Was it 20-175? Is that, am I correct on that?
Yes, that is correct. In that instance, the respondent had indicated that she does not have a computer, and as a result, she was not able to correspond with us. I had indicated to her that we would call her today because Linda and I did speak with her, I want to say it was last week sometime.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to find is her phone number to
She didn't-
call her back. So my thought is you can proceed. I will look for her phone number and then we'll go back to it. I have to look in my records. Unfortunately, I don't have it readily available, but I will try and find it. So please continue and we will go back to her to call
Okay.
her. Yes, thank you.
That being the case, my fellow commissioner members, are there any documentation, John, I cut you short on one here, that you want to request from staff or anyone that you would like to review on any of these cases, that we should make that request now, especially to staff, if there's something you want like to be forwarded to you or to us for consideration?
The only thing I was suggesting was I looked at that website for, that would be for 2020 Stephen. And it, you know, and it just really isn't clear what courses are required. I know it's his responsibility to look up and see which courses, but I was thinking on a sidestep that maybe at a later date, maybe we discuss this, that we might want to look and just maybe send a memo out to some of these schools saying that, hey, you really should, you know, make sure your websites are clear.
Okay, we can, yeah, I can take a look at their website
We can
and
talk about
see,
But
what
that's-
it looks like, so they know. And to remind them that they have to put the certification, the AAL certification on the ones that are approved for appraisal.
Okay. Linda, did I hear you right that our records on any past, you know, issues or infractions or what have you only go back to a certain date?
Right, we only,
I don't have it.
you know, I have the files from 2018, the CE audit that we did, because you have to remember, we did everything via mail back then. So storage reasons, you know, record retention reasons, we don't have anything from 2010. Or 2014, they may be in the archives, which right now would be impossible to get.
Okay. All right. The new world of COVID we're living in and trying to work
Correct.
around and so forth. Okay. Shauna, was there any documents that you would like for consideration?
Nope.
Okay. Norris?
I'm good.
Okay. Linda?
No, I'm okay.
Okay. John?
I'm good.
Okay. All right then. Do we have 2020-175 Marion Girolis on the phone?
I don't see Vicky at her desk, so
I believe Vicky's on the phone with her. I muted her because I heard her in the background speaking with her. So I think she has.
Trying to connect, okay.
Correct, is trying to make a connection. And I also had a user on earlier who might have been her, who I asked repeatedly to identify themselves to the board, but they would not. And once Vicky started speaking about her, then the user went away. So I'm not quite sure if it was that respondent.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Are there any other issues that must come before us at the commission here?
No, not today. I don't
Okay.
have anything anyways.
All right. We'll give Vicky, I know we're under this time clock with the Zoom meeting, so, my thoughts were, once we hear this, if we want to wait, if there's no other information we request, we can, with a time allotment, or we can pick this up in December and then, have final discussion and a vote if you'd like to think through this or what have you. I'm trying to make sure in this world of COVID and new rules and restrictions, we're not there that, my biggest thing, and I don't want to say fear, but I want to make sure that we are consistent and have considered all the elements, although in a different format than we've done in the past, but we're just trying to go the extra mile so we're fair to all. Okay, so we should be hearing from Vicky in a moment or two.
Yeah, the moment's here. I am still trying to reach her. What had happened, we don't have, I don't have her phone number readily available. That's what it is. And I had done a conference call, so I can't quite tell. So can you keep going? I don't want to not contact her.
We can table her to December if you want.
Is that?
Because we're done, yeah.
Oh, okay. Then my thought is, then let's table her because the questions that she had, really pertain to whether or not she could submit something as a retired status. And there's, a little bit more work that we could probably do to help her get along. But we, again, because she doesn't have computer, it really is difficult to even contact her. So my thought is to table it for next month, and I can send her a letter to that,
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much for your patience. Yeah.
That answers my question here is we're going to then, we will table case 2020-175. And then once we hear that, we'll open up with that for our next meeting when we have this section. Then we'll have discussion on all the other ones we had, and I believe it's fair then we have all our findings. Because
yes,
heaven forbid, if there's something that comes up in 2020-175 that may have or may not have an impact on, I'm going to just use for an example, case 2020-87, I want us to be consistent. So
I can appreciate that.
That's where I'm coming from. So I'll ask one last time, is there any other matters before the commission today? Okay, not hearing any. Then can I have a motion to the adjournment of the meeting?
I'll make the motion.
Norris? Second?
Aye.
Anyone want a second? All right,
I'll
John, a second. Votes aye,
Aye.
nay. Okay, that's the end of our meeting. Thank you again to you and yours, of every one of my fellow commissioners, our great staff folks.